Hello, welcome to your conversation class. This is Larissa talking to you. I am going to be both your tutor and your teacher. So, welcome to the ILSE system. As you already know, we have two main activities, or actually three main activities, platform exercises that you have to solve on the platform. After that, you have this grammar class, which is recorded, and you're going to get it every week. And finally, we will have our conversation class, which is live on the Zoom platform, okay? So those are the three main activities that we are going to develop here in this course. Hola chicos, bienvenido. Chicas, mi nombre es Larissa Vázquez Moreno, soy tanto su tutora como su maestra. No, corrección, su tutora. Dependiendo del horario que hayan elegido, puede que sea o no su maestra. Todos los maestros que estamos aquí estamos capacitados para impartir los diferentes niveles, entonces es probable que los vea en la clase en vivo de conversación o tal vez no, tal vez solamente mediante estas grabaciones y semanalmente a través del correo electrónico. Por favor, les pido que vean el video que les envié de la sesión de bienvenida para ponerlos al corriente de cómo funciona este sistema en línea. Bueno, esta es la clase correspondiente a gramática. Bienvenidos, son videos relativamente cortos. Espero que los encuentren útiles. Vamos a empezar. Unidad 46, Unit 46. Corresponding to level general 2, right? Okay, so what are we going to see today? So I assume that since you're here in this level, you're very used to understanding English and that you are also probably very fluent in English, right? Asumo que ya, si están en este nivel es porque son bastante fluidos con el inglés, ¿cierto? Tanto hablado como escuchado. Si me toca coincidir con alguno de ustedes, creo que yo solamente llevo una clase de General 2 a la semana. Bueno, ya estaremos viendo y practicando juntos. Entonces, vamos a hacer esta clase la mayor parte en inglés. Okay, so the present simple, what are we going to review today? The use of the present simple, the simple past, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. So what is the present perfect? The basics, okay? So we use it to express facts or general truths and to talk about habits and routines. We usually use words that indicate the frequency in which an action or in which an action is realized, or we can use frequency adverbs such as every day, usually, and always. For instance, I vote in every election. He always votes for the Conservative Party. She never votes for the Liberal Party. Okay, so the simple present and frequency adverbs are very useful to talk about usual actions, everyday events. Okay, what about the simple past? We used to, the simple past to talk about an action that started and ended in the past, okay? It's not longer happening, okay? It has finished. I voted in the 2008 election. I didn't vote in the last election. Did he vote in the presidential election? Okay, so to form the simple past with regular verbs, we use the infinitive and we use termination ed, okay? And you use the same for all the pronouns. Want becomes wanted, learn becomes learned, stay becomes stayed, and walk becomes walked, show becomes showed. Easy, right? You just add an ed at the end of the regular verb. Bueno, esto es fácil para los verbos regulares, ¿cierto? Añadir la terminación ed para convertir un verbo de su forma base o presente a, más bien su forma base, a la forma del pasado. Exceptions. Verbs that end with an E, there's no need for us to repeat the ED. We just add a D at the end of the verb. Change becomes changed. We couldn't say changed. No, changed. Leave, you just add a D at the end of the verb. Believe, it becomes believed. If the verb ends in a vowel and a consonant, except for Y or W, we double the final consonant. So stop, we have the vowel O, and we have the consonant P. We double the final consonant P and add again ED. Stop becomes stopped. Commit, we have an I, the vowel I, and then we have the consonant T. We double the final consonant T and add ED. Commit, committed, committed. And finally, verbs that end in a consonant followed by a Y, we change the Y for an I. And again, we add ED at the end of the verb. So study becomes studied, try becomes tried. We just change the Y for an I and add ED. There are lots of irregular verbs in English. Unfortunately, there is no rule to identify them. Okay, so next are shown 3 or the most common irregular verbs. And they usually act also as auxiliary verbs. Okay, so be, the verb to be, the verb to do, and the verb to have, they usually act as auxiliary verbs, and they are both irregular. So be becomes was for the pronouns I, he, she, and it, or were for the pronouns you, we, and they. Do becomes did, and have becomes had. Okay, third tense, present perfect. In general, the present perfect is a mixture between the present and the past. We use it for actions in the past that have an importance in the present, or that are still happening in the present, or that are still true now. Entonces, el presente perfecto es un tiempo muy socorrido para relatar experiencias de vida, porque nos permite relatar cosas que nos han sucedido, que sucedieron en algún punto del pasado. No es tan importante decir cuándo pasó, pero es importante porque sigue teniendo repercusiones en nuestra vida. ¿Sí? O sigue incluso pasando, o sigue incluso, bueno, es justo, teniendo repercusiones, siendo importante. To form the present perfect, we use the auxiliary verb to have in the present tense form and the past participle of the verb. For regular verbs, the past participle is the same as the past simple, just for regular verbs. Okay, so you can say something like I have talked, or short form, I've talked. We have talked, we have learned, we've learned, or he has talked, she has learned. Okay, so look, the only verb that changes is the auxiliary verb, have or has, depending on the pronoun that we use. And the past participle remains the same. Okay, the past participle refers to the main verb. Entonces tenemos dos verbos principales, el verbo auxiliar, que en este caso es to have o has, en el presente perfecto, y también tenemos el verbo principal, que está expresado en su forma participia y que no cambia para ninguna de las personas, para ninguno de los pronombres cambia, permanece igual siempre. Again, we have lots of irregular verbs in English. Let's look at some of them. So we have the verb to be, past simple of be, was or were, depending on the pronoun, past participle been, do, did, done, go, went, gone, make, made, made. Remains the same. See, saw, seen. In my own opinion, in my very personal opinion, it's not useless, but I wouldn't mind, I mean, I wouldn't take time, I wouldn't spend time memorizing the irregular verbs. Okay, for me, that's not just a good strategy to memorize things. Okay, more important is that you get to practice with casual conversations, everyday conversations, with songs, listening to music in English, listening to to radio in English, listening to videos. I mean, watching and listening to videos, watching movies. Okay, try to make it more simple, more fun for you. Okay, because if you're going to memorize whatever verbs or whatever grammar, it's going to be really tired, and you're probably going to get bored soon. Okay, let's look at the different forms in which we use the present perfect. Affirmative sentences. We have the subject followed by the auxiliary verb, to have, and the past participle. The main verb expressed in past participle. I have or I've talked to Peter. Okay, again, when have you talked to Peter is not important. What is important is the action that happened. I have talked to Peter. She has gone to work. She's gone to work. It's very important here that whenever you use the short form, the contraction for she has, she is, don't get confused with the apostrophe S to be used as a short form of she is. Okay, it's different. Okay, how are you going to know that? Because the verb that follows that contraction is in past participle. Esto es muy importante con la tercera persona del singular. Cuando veamos esta contracción de she's gone, he's gone, o cualquier verbo que siga al auxiliar has, saber que no nos estamos refiriendo o no se están refiriendo al verb to be, o sea, she is gone, porque bueno, podría ser que fuera, pero casi siempre que tenemos involucrado un verbo en pasado participio o participio pasado, es porque antes está expresado un verbo, el verbo to have, bueno, en este caso has. She has gone to work, she's gone to work. We have been to London, we've been to London, they've learned English. Negative sentences. Just add a not after the auxiliary verb. I haven't talked to Peter, she hasn't, or she has not gone to work, we haven't been to London, they haven't learned English. And finally, interrogative sentences. Remember, every time we have a question, an interrogative sentence, we have to begin that interrogative sentence with the auxiliary verb. In this case, is the verb to have. Have you talked to Peter? Has she gone to work? Have you been to London? Have they learned English? And finally, the present perfect continues. We use it to describe actions that began in the past, continue into the present, and may continue to the future. Okay, they are unfinished or continuing actions. I have been listening to Mozart since I was a child. She's been studying English since 1990. As with present perfect, we use the auxiliary verb to have, plus the past participle of the verb to be, which is being, plus a verb ending in ing. Okay, I have been listening. She has been studying. Okay, I have been talking. You have been studying. They have been waiting. He has been talking. She has been studying. It has been waiting. Okay, affirmative sentences with the present perfect continuous. We have the subject plus the auxiliary verb have or has, depending on the pronoun, plus the past participle of the verb to be, which is been, plus a verb ending in ing. They have or they've been talking for 3 hours. She has or she's been studying English since she was 16. I have or I've been waiting for you for over an hour. Negative sentences. You just add not at the end of the auxiliary verb have or has. They haven't been talking for more than a few minutes. She hasn't been studying English for very long. Don't worry, I haven't been waiting long. And interrogative sentences. We place the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence. Have they been talking for a long time? Have you been waiting long? Okay, guys, so that's all for this grammar review. In a second video, we will see Unit 47, right? Bye.